Hi friends, it's Mike the Broker Builder here. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel. All right, today we're going to get the footers dug and the horizontal rebar installed. What you're looking at here is my foundation plan. And in the last video, you saw me set up my batter boards here, 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 and here. We strung layout lines across this way and across this way. We checked our hypotenuse, everything's square. I dropped plumb bobs down, marked my footer locations from the layout lines, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to form those up and dig them. Then we're going to put the rebar in that the engineer calls for, okay? So these footing pads are 30 by 30 by 12 deep, and they call for then vertical rebar. And then we're going to stack chimney blocks on top of these footing pads. But those will be for later videos. Okay. If you look down here, I'm going to scroll down a little bit if I can. I don't know why I can't go up there. There we go. Okay. The engineer tells you here that the concrete footings are 30 by 30, and then they have 3 number 5 rebars each way with a minimum of 3-inch concrete cover at the ends of all the rebar. Okay? So, we're going to come off of the plans here, but again, I always want to show you guys that so that you can understand what we're doing here. And hey, one last thing before I go. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. I am available for consultations through the mobile app MINNECT, MINNECT. You just search for Michael Perry. You'll see the Broker Builder logo. You can send an email, just get a simple question answered, or I'm available for consultations through video. If you want to go over budgets, a spec home budget, or just look at your plans or have questions, things like that. All right, let's get to digging these footers. Real quick, the first thing that I did was I grabbed some some leftover 2x4s from the spec home that I'm currently building. And if you haven't been checking out those videos, make sure you guys do that on the channel. I think the title is Florida Spec Home. And so I basically cut these to allow for a 30-inch by 30-inch opening, which, like I showed you on the plans, is what the engineer called for. And then what I'm going to do is put these at each footer location. That way I can level these up, and then I'll actually adjust the height of the pillars to an overall finished floor elevation then, because we don't have even ground here. So trying to get all of these forms at the correct height would be very hard. And then even at that, it's not going to be perfect. You're still probably going to have to adjust a chimney block here and there. So anyways, this was the first step. All right, guys. Day 3 here at camp. I'm solo. I was just setting all of the footer forms. And again, I may not have had to do this, but I just like to be neat. And I'm glad I did, because it was, with the sandy soil and things, it's just easier to dig the hole without it caving in on the sides and things like that. But I'm going to turn around and show you what I have done so far. Let's do it. All right, friends, real quick before I show you what all I have done, I did want to just show you some of the process here, and I sped it up best I could. Obviously, this stuff's all, well, not everything is trial and error, but this particular foundation is kind of like trial and error. It's my first time doing a foundation like this. We build almost everything here in Florida on monolithic slabs. And I hope I never come across as a know-it-all to you guys, because that's far from the truth. Always learning in construction. There's always new building science. There's always better ways to do things. But I'm hoping that I can at least give you guys some encouragement to kind of try things on your own, because it really is just trial and error sometimes. And you can just see I used the plumb bob there off the layout lines and pounding the stakes in here. And what I realized real quick was that it's easier to set the forms down in about 3-4 inches first and then dig the hole, because the very few inches of soil is just super dry and sandy. And this was kind of the process for the rest of them. So hope you guys enjoyed that little bit there. All right, I have all the forms leveled. I dug them in a little bit, just enough to get past the sandy soil. And I've got the last 2 in the middle here to go. That's it. So I've got the rest set. Actually dug one hole just because I got bored, and well, not bored, but just want to change the scenery. But that's what it's going to look like. The engineer called for 12 inches, but these are going to be around 14. I've got 2 spots marked on my shovel there, 12 inches and 14 inches. I'm sorry, 12 and 16. So as long as I'm in there somewhere, I'm fine with that. And you know, being the sandy soil, I do like to have them just a little bit deeper. Again, could be overkill, but it can hurt. And that's pretty solid clay down there, which is good. I mean, it's not like super thick clay, but again, that wouldn't be good because you wouldn't have much drainage. But I packed that down with the tamp, and not bad. It's pretty solid down there. So I think these footers are just absolutely going to be fine for this project. All right. Yeah. All right, guys, my playtime in the woods has come to an end. Our family came up over the weekend, and I dug a couple more holes here. Got about half of them dug, and I'm heading home. So hopefully be back next week, dig them all. Goal's going to be try to get the inspector here and give me a couple pointers on the rebar, and I'll show you kind of what we're doing there. And I'll show you what rebar structure is going to be going into these holes. I think that my rebar chairs are just a little too short to get me my 3 inches of cover, but that might just be a little bit conservative for the engineer, so I'm going to check with him too. But all right, I'm going to show you a couple of footers, and then I'll catch you in the next video. All right, see you later. All right, friends. So on to cutting the 3x3 5/8 inch rebar. Now, what I did is I set up an old miter saw that was just laying around. Many different ways to cut rebar. You can do with a hand grinder, and band saws, all kinds of other stuff. But what I did was just got a metal grinding. This is a 10-inch miter saw, so you can get them, you know, any big box store, anywhere it sells blades. So it's going to be specifically for cutting metal. And then I just popped it in the miter saw, and once I got the hang of it, kind of rotated them a little bit as you cut them. And excuse me. And it worked out pretty good. So we had 6 pieces times 15 in each hole, and they get hot too, so make sure you wear gloves when you're doing this, and you can see the sparks coming out of there. So this is how we chose to cut them. All right, friends, so once you get 6 of them cut, you're going to use what's called rebar chairs, and that is the little black plastic pieces you see that they're sitting on. What that does is it keeps them up off the ground a certain amount, whatever your engineer calls for. In this case, we need the 3-inch chairs. So you put those underneath, and you use small metal ties, and you'd have to read up on how to tie those. There's different ways to tie them, but it's almost just like a twisty. This stuff's pretty easy. So again, once you create the tic-tac-toe board, like I like to call it there, and you just drop one down in each hole. As you can see from the thumbnail for this video, you'll see what it looks like down in the hole there. And there's going to be a bunch of vertical rebar, 4-foot vertical rebar that's going to be attached to this, and that's going to be for the next video. I'll show you how we attach that, and then we'll get them poured. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. It means a lot to me as you watch these videos. I really appreciate it. And I am available for consultations through the mobile app MINNECT, MINNECT. You can book time with me if you have any questions on your projects or need some guidance. Other than that, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much. Take care.